some perfect trades tonight. This is my name is Rob Thomas. I want to welcome you to the Shadow Traders and Segredo Quants Wednesday night webinar. Want to do a sound check real quick. Can everybody hear me? Excellent, great, thank you. It doesn't sound like I'm eating the microphone, meaning it's not too overly indulgent, is it? Okay, fantastic. And can you now? So now let's do a screen check. Can you see my screen? Fantastic. All right. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate a receptive room. I like it. I like it. So I hope you're wide awake. We're gonna go through some detailed stuff tonight, but we're gonna do it over and over and over again, and so it's going to be repetitious. But as all of you know, through repetition, that's how things stick with most of us. So really quickly, just want to let you know what to expect tonight. As usual, we'll always start with announcements, and then we'll get into talking about how to safely get 3 ticks doing a perfect trade by using both the NinjaTrader charts and using the Segredo Quant charts as a confirmation, as that extra little foot in your rear end to hop into the trade. At the end of the night, and I didn't do a very good job of this last week, so I'll try my hardest this week. I want to stop a little bit early to address any questions that don't get addressed throughout the evening. And throughout the evening, I'll do my best to address any questions throughout, especially if it pertains to what we're talking about immediately. Now, some of you, if I don't answer your question, there could be a couple reasons. One, I don't see it. Keep in mind my window, I'm limited with real estate, and so oftentimes it's just because I overlooked it. However, I try to go line for line. But also, sometimes I feel that I might be able to answer your particular question as we're going through one of the examples. It's just something I haven't hit yet. So don't take it personally. Don't ever take it personally. And you know, my goal is to make sure that all of you get individual attention in a group setting. So with that, what I would like to do is share with you, you know, the past couple of weeks I've shared with you a couple of TED Talks. TED is a very, very progressive organization that likes to put progressive and innovative people out for you to enjoy on the internet, and you can find a lot of their stuff at TED.com, I believe. But what I'm going to do now is in the chat window, oftentimes Melanie will put, you know, information over in the chat window so that everybody can see it all at once. So I'm going to go ahead and do that really, really quick. Well, I don't ever type as quick as I'd like to, but I'm going to go ahead and type in the first one to make sure that everybody can see what it is that I'm typing. Luckily, I get to type this. If I had to write it, no one would be able to read it. All right, can all of you see that? Fantastic. Okay, good. I'll type in the next one. Some of you haven't seen these videos yet, so I figure it will take about 5 or 6 weeks to put these up in the window, and I want to make sure that everybody gets this. These videos, by the way, that I'm putting up, they're going to give you a good background on what HFTs are, what algorithms are, and the impact that it's had on the market, and then you'll be able to assess the impact that it would have on your trading from watching these videos. There's the next one. Tom, thanks for the suggestion. About 3 minutes before I was getting ready to log in, I was thinking about typing it all up on this Word doc or whatever, and then cutting and pasting it into the window so I don't have to type it every time. So thanks for that suggestion. And finally, I'm going to reference you to a website for those of you that like to dig and dig and dig and dig. This guy is a researcher. That's nanex.net. And you can find stuff up there daily. So did everybody get that? Did everybody see what's in the window there? We're all good to go? Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, some of you have some initial questions. Let's take a look really quickly. Bill asks, Rob, they canceled the daily Segredo trade room. Why? I don't know. So Bill, what I want you to do is go to segredoquants.com, click on the help screen, and pose that question to them so that you can get the answer to that question. Scott, how do you review the buy and sell signals when there's no history on the quant? Well, you just kind of scroll back. So if you'll take a look at my charts here on the right-hand side where my cursor is, there's a historical timeline down here, and you just have to go back. Now, on the perfect trade tonight, we're going to be looking for 1s, 2s, and 3s with a particular color combination. I hope that properly addresses your question. If it doesn't, ask it in a different way or say, Rob, you completely missed it. Tom would like to know, will I ever cover how to execute clear trades with the Segredo Quants charts? I suppose we could certainly do that. Yep. It's interesting. It's kind of the opposite of what we're talking about in terms of the things that we've looked at the past few weeks on the quant in terms of when to get in. So yeah, we'll definitely move in that direction. I don't want y'all to show up and fall asleep, but I want to make sure that you get enough repetition so that you're able to assimilate it, understand it, and most importantly, apply it with success. You know, that's the true test of any knowledge and any learning exercise. Can you apply it? W. Yang, does the Tuesday night event also cancel? I don't have information on that. So regarding the the shadow, I assume you're referring to the Shadow Traders Tuesday night introductory webinar, or yeah, web seminar. Is that what you're referring to? Just waiting on an answer here. If that's what you're referring to, then what I want you to do is to email shadowsupport@shadowtraders.com and ask that question. I didn't have any new announcements for you this evening with regards to the cancellation of the Segredo Quants trading room or the cancellation or not of the Tuesday night webinar. So with that, let's go ahead and hop into the perfect trade. And what I want to do first is just explain to you what I have on my NinjaTrader charts and why. Okay, I'm going to minimize a couple of things really quickly. I found a quote for y'all earlier today. Yes, y'all is a real word. This really struck me. You know, I think that this really, really addresses what we do here. You know, what we do is not what everybody does, right? So it's very difficult, especially when you're having a hard time with trading and you're having some struggles in mastering and staying on the path, because let's face it, it's a challenge to stay on it sometimes. You can't just go out into the public and talk to other people about it because they have no clue what you're going through. That's why I'd recommend you to befriend people in this group, get in communication with them. The next event that pops up, definitely go to that. Because this is your group. This is where you can really mastermind and get with people who are walking a similar path, who have possibly had similar circumstances and similar experiences to you. But I saw this quote, and it made a lot of sense to me. You have to have a lot of passion for what you do, because if you don't, any rational person would give up. Some of you would really like to know what my name is. My name is Rob Thomas. And so I'm not going to keep saying my name for fear that y'all think I'm an egomaniac. So that'll be the last time I say it tonight. And if you show up late and you missed my name, we'll show up on time and you'll get it next week. From time to time, I'll share good quotes with you, and or at least what I think would be a good quote. And if you think it's garbage, let me know. I want to make sure I'm on the mark. That that my reality similarly matches yours. I mean, after all, we are in the same group. And no, I don't want to save changes to this. Uh-oh, what do I got here? Well, let's just minimize it. Some of you are asking if I'm the singer. Yes, I'm the singer of Matchbox 20, and because none of you bought my CDs, now I have to become a day trader. Thanks a lot. No, I'm not that one. But thanks to him, I do get a lot of interesting conversation. All right, so let me minimize these two Segredo Quants charts, and I want to show you my setup. So I am a perfect trader, okay? I like the perfect trade. There's a couple reasons why I like the perfect trade. Because in my 7 years experience as a shadow trader, I've done just about every trade that there is, and maybe you have too. For the longest time, I thought that I was a clear trader. For the longest time, I thought I was a gap closer. For the longest time, I thought I was a reversal guy. For the longest time, I thought it was there's a trade in your training material that refers to a stochastic trade where there's people that actually just watch this stochastic here, and any time that the 20 goes below the 20 line and comes back up, they buy. And when it goes up and it crosses the 80 line and then it comes back down, they sell. I thought I was that for a little bit because I like obvious things, and that was really obvious. I like the 200 bounce. I like the bounce off the S4. I like the run to the S4. I mean, you can really absolutely get completely dispersed in this game. And that's why you'll hear from Barbara, and that's why you'll hear from Cheryl, and that's why you'll hear from Melanie and other people that pick one thing and do it well. And when it works for you, do it over and over and over and over and over again, and allow your dreams and your goals to manifest doing it that way. So back to the perfect trade. I like the perfect trade because to me it has all of the elements, or it has some of the elements of a clear trade, in that the trend is changing and I'm actually getting the satisfaction of doing a trend trade, because there's been times when I would watch Melanie's webinar and I'm like, she's ripping out these 3-6 trades like it's no big deal, and it is no big deal for her because she's practiced it so much. And I'm thinking, but I want those 5 and 6 tick trades too. But then also the other aspect of the perfect trade is that it's a gap close going into a reversal, and I used to love gap closing on the CL, loved it. And the reason I liked gap closes on the CL is because it moved quickly, as long as you got in at the right time. So as we know, the perfect trade is a gap close that goes into a reversal, and it's the beginning of a new trend. And so I've fallen in love with the perfect trade for those reasons, because I get a little bit of all of those things. And it also it's just become really obvious to me, and maybe some of you can really relate with that. Maybe you're not a perfect trader, maybe you're a clear trader, or you're a gap closer, right? Or maybe you're doing an HMA color change trade, but you're picking the one that's obvious to you. And that's what I recommend. If this perfect trade doesn't resonate with you, and no matter how many times you've looked at it, it's not clicking, pick something else. I really want and encourage each of you to pick the one that's obvious, the stochastic 20, okay? And he's the one that moves quicker than the 50. That's the stochastic 50, and that's the stochastic 100. Eddie wants to know why I have the 1 see when I was shown the perfect trade uh, by Barbara, she said one of the coolest things to me, and it just made sense. And I've made a career of making mistakes by adding to what Barbara has told me, or taking something out of what Barbara has told me. So she showed me the magic of what happens when the 1 and the 5 minute are in sync, and so I just never decided to mess with it. To me, she's like a scientist. She's got hundreds of thousands more hours into this, and I don't. So I just took it, practiced it, ran with it, and here we go. So that's the reason that I have the 5 and the 1. But the concept behind the perfect trade is that you're waiting for the 5-minute chart and the 1-minute chart to get in sync. So let's break this down. I was initially coming to these charts to share with you what I have on my charts and why. So I have, as you can see, I have the pivots, okay? Not all pivots are created equal. Maybe some of you have attended Melanie's class where she talks about which pivots are the most pivotal, haha. But the S3, of course, and the S4, those are major pivots, okay? Major pivots that you want to pay attention to and respect, okay? Show these to respect. But up here on panel 1, I've got the pivots, I've got the moving averages, okay? I have the HMA, which is a 14 HMA. I made no changes to that. The only thing that I've done is made this wider. And then I have the candlesticks here. And that's panel 1. And then, of course, I have the degrees, because I like to know the degree of the 13. Every once in a while I'll take a look at this, but I really don't pay attention to it too much. And let's see, have I made any other adjustments to this? Yeah, so the only other thing you can see here is the colors between the 13 EMA and the 20 SMA. It's green here. Obviously, you want to respect these, but these colors are on here for aesthetic reasons, meaning I don't use these to decide whether I'm going to get in a trade or not. I don't look at the colors, but I like having the colors on there because to me it just makes a nice looking chart. That's all I have on this. I don't use the fractals. I just personally don't use them. And when Barbara shared with me how to do the perfect trade and what to look for, she didn't have them on her chart, so I didn't add them. Like I said, I've added things, and I've also taken things out from what she said in the past. And I no longer want to pay a tuition to the market or make a donation to someone else's trading plan because I want to make that mistake over and over again and see, hopefully someday it'll be right. Right. In the second panel, I have the MACD. I have the fancy color on here again just for aesthetic purposes. And I've made no adjustment to the MACD other than I've made these lines in the histogram a little bit wider. And then down on the third panel, we have the stochastics. We have the 20, the 50, which is the one that mimics the 50 up here. I think that's fuchsia in color. And then the 100. And so no modifications here. So I just have a simple chart. I like to keep it simple. I think that there's a lot of genius in simplicity. And another reason that I keep this chart simple is because I was one of those people that also developed a habit of, if I had it on the chart, well, initially I put a particular indicator on the chart because I thought it was going to help me get into the trade, but I found also that I would also use it to talk me out of getting into a perfectly good trade. But hopefully that's never happened to any of you. Hopefully you don't do that, and hopefully you have only on your chart what you're actually going to use. Melanie said that to me a million times, only put on your chart what you're going to use. And then over here, so here's the 5-minute chart, here's the 1-minute chart, and as you'll notice, the 1-minute chart and the 5-minute chart, they have the same thing. So what I've done with the 5, I've done with the 1. So now let's talk about what I have on the quant charts, and we'll talk about what each of the symbols mean. Okay. So as you can see, I have a 5-minute quant chart on the left, sitting with the 5-minute NinjaTrader chart, and then I have a 1-minute quant chart sitting with the 1 minute NinjaTrader chart. And so what do these things mean? Let's take a look at this and break this down. So the only thing luckily, you can't make too many adjustments on the Segredo Quants chart in terms of, at least near as many that you can with the NinjaTrader charts. But over here, what we have on the top part, okay, I'm actually going to expand this for just a second. You can choose between 3 different settings. You can choose to just have candlesticks, which for some of you that will be fine. I like to use both, and I'll share with you why and how I use them tonight when we do some trading. Okay, but you have the candlestick chart. You have the option of doing just the oscillator, which was the fancy, colorful object below. Isn't that pretty? For those of you that like pretty charts. And then Segredo combines them both. The only, then there are, of course, some other adjustments. You can put 3 hours on there, or 1 hour. You can change your symbols here. I don't typically use that. Every once in a while, I'll change the time frame there. And then you can also go to light. I'm doing dark because I like to have contrast between these two. I don't like to have the white, but this is what the white looks like. I know Melanie is a fan of the white screen. I'm a fan of the dark screen. I look at white screens all day long, so it's more relaxing for me to look at a dark screen. Yeah, some of you like that as well. You're commenting in the window right now. All right, so let me move this back. Spent a lot of time adjusting these charts. Lovely. Okay. Hopefully it'll go. No, it won't. Okay, let's get back to the time frame that I had it originally set on. Okay. Now keep in mind, it's also a little bit difficult on the Segredo charts to be perfectly right side of the edge as it would be over here on the NinjaTrader charts. But here's what we're looking at, okay? We use the candlestick and the oscillator on one chart. And so as you'll see up above, we have candlesticks. Green signifies buying strength. You want to go long, right, just as it does over here. You wouldn't be looking at going long on a red candle, especially with momentum, right? So similar rules apply over here. Then you've got red candles, which signify that the price is going down, that there is selling activity. And so you will want to pay respect to the colors of the candles. You'll also see that the Segredo Quant follows a numerical sequence. It goes from 1 to 8, but it doesn't go through 1 through 8 on every single sequence, meaning just because you see a 1 here doesn't mean that you can bank on it going up to 8. It could go to 8, but you just can't bank on it. And so 1 through 8 is a full cycle, and so tonight what we're going to be looking at are ones. We're going to be looking at entering on 1, the number 1, number 2, or number 3. All right? And the only other thing that I haven't explained yet is this line right here. Okay, so this gray line's what we call the fast-moving average, and I'm hesitant to call it a 13 because and maybe a lot of you have seen this already, but if you're to have this up live with a live chart, it doesn't exactly mimic what the 13 moving average does on a NinjaTrader chart. So when you hear me call this the fast moving average, now that's why I don't want to call it a 13 moving average, because it doesn't mimic the 13 over here. And over here, the line connecting this moving average here connecting these candles, this is the HMA. Okay, and this is an awesome godsend. That's why I have it on both charts. This HMA can keep you out of so many bad trades, and Melanie is beyond expert at explaining how this works, okay, how the HMA works. The coolest thing about an HMA is that it changes color for you, and it creates an obvious sign, meaning, when you see this guy, this HMA right here, and it's slanted downward and it's red, you should have zero inclination to be looking for a short entry. and vice versa. Right over here when it's green, you wouldn't be looking for, you know, a short entry. And I think I just got this backwards, but I think y'all know what I meant. This is going down. You're not looking for a long entry. You want to go with the trend. And you hear this a million times. The trend is your friend. And it really is. If the trend isn't your friend, you'll know because you'll make a donation to that club in the form of, a losing trade when you get stopped out, or you decide to take yourself out. And by the way, this class, this club, if you will, we're all moving in the direction of no longer giving donations to other people's trading plans. We put our foot down and we said, you know what, it's our turn to get rich. It's our turn to receive. It's our turn to make withdrawals and have others donate to our trading plan. Okay, enough about that. Down below, here's what these symbols mean. This is an oscillator, okay? And when you see the red oscillating bars, that tells you that there is selling strength in the market, and you want to look for a short entry. Okay? And Tom, I believe it was you that asked, will we at some point cover clear trades? I'd be glad to do that. If you're a clear trader, you're really looking at the reds and the greens, okay? But just so that we can go from left to right, and I know I didn't start all the way over here. This next one right here, this is the yellow oscillating bar. The yellow oscillating bar means that there's a possible reversal on the way. Get in for an early entry to go long. All right? And so tonight, for perfect trades, we're going to be looking at yellow-colored oscillators and ones, twos, or threes. Now, the next color is green. Green indicates buying strength. So the market is going long. It's going bullish. And this is, when you see green, you're thinking, look for a long entry. Okay? Now, over here, I'll just go to this one because there's more to show without me having to make adjustments and do all of that again. This blue oscillator is similar to the yellow oscillator, and what it means is this. There's a possible reversal on the way. Look for an early short entry. And so tonight, we'll be looking for blue oscillators with red numbers. Okay? So we're looking for blue oscillators and red numbers if we want to go short. We're looking for gold oscillators and green numbers if we want to go long. Now, since we're talking about this on the quant, I'll share with you a few things to stay away from. Stay away from green oscillating bars with red numbers. When you see a green oscillating bar with a red number, it means sit on your hands and wait. And then down here below, you see where it has the yellow oscillating bars with the red numbers. That means sit on your hands, wait, because you're waiting for this combo right here. By the way, let me try a new drawing tool really quickly on this chart. I want to see if this is going to show up better than the... You'll see this red spotlight? We'll use that instead. I like to change it up. So just like you want to stay away from these green bars with the red numbers, over here you see the red bars, which indicate selling strength. Look for a short entry. You want to stay away from green on red. So no colors here, no Christmas colors there. I don't know what to call this. Red and yellow makes me think of McDonald's for some reason. So no McDonald's colors here. And then over here is a good example, another thing to stay away from. If you see blue oscillators show up and you're a perfect trader, you know you're coming, possibly. It's not always guaranteed, right? Right there, it wasn't guaranteed. It changed its mind, and the market went back up. Over here, as soon as you blue oscillator off and you see some green numbers, it's not your turn. There's nothing to do. You need to be patient. Rule number one of avoiding a fake out: wait. Be patient. All right. So So that covers what's on the Segredo charts. Make sure I've covered everything. And we've already kind of, I'll tell you what, let me take a second to address a couple questions. Okay, Carol, or wait. So Peter asks a good question. What does the open candle, meaning that the body is not filled on the corner? See it's number 4 right here? See how that body is empty? I don't know. Don't know. It's not a doji. I can't assume that it's a doji, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna write that down and find out for next week. Thanks for asking that question. All right, Gail says, I like clear trades. Gail, if you're good at that, change nothing. Stick with it, get rich. Have others donate to your trading plan. And you know, continue to stay successful and then help as many people become successful as you can. Steve, do I follow just the Segredo quant rules, or do I have to combine the rules of what we've received from shadow traders? Steve, I combine them both, okay? And it's through repetition it gets easier and easier, and I'm going to show you through the examples tonight how we do that. Ed, we talked about this. Earl's not have been in the room yet. You want to know what happened to the trade room? I don't know. If you're talking, the Segredo Quants trade room, just go to segredoquants.com, click on the help button, and ask a question. I'm sure you'll get the answer. And then, some of you are making some guesses as to why the empty candle. So I'm not going to share those with the room so that no one takes this as gospel, and ask Barb to get back on that. We'll get with the programmer, the designer, the mastermind. Can I go over what to look for in the Segredos for the clear trade again, please? Yes, Tom, when you're looking for a clear trade, you're looking for green red oscillators. You do not want to get in on red oscillator with a green number. You want red on red, and similarly, you want green on green, okay? All right, so what we have in front of us right now, and I have to switch back to the cursor function. What we're looking at is 11:15 today, and the screens that I have up in front of you is we're looking at the Japanese yen, which is 6J in your NinjaTrader charts. Okay, so what I tried to do when I was pulling up these trades today was to put us in the moment a few minutes before so that we could see how a perfect trade builds. Because here's what typically happens with a perfect trade. We know that a perfect trade is, a perfect trade technically follows a gap close, and a gap close technically follows a fan, if you will, or a clear trade. My favorite perfect trades is when you have a bullish fan or a bearish fan. The thing for some prices moving going for in one direction for some time, and I know at some point it's going to go in another direction. Those are my favorites. I've become selective. I like to be selective because I know that perfect trades occur throughout the day on just about all of the all of the different instruments that we talk about. And so I don't, because I know that it happens so much, I like to be picky. So if one shows up and it's kind of sketchy and I feel the slightest bit of uncertainty, I'm not going to take it. So I picked the really, really obvious ones. So to be clear, The perfect trades that I pick typically will follow a bearish fan or a bullish fan that's going in one direction for some time, and I know it's obvious that it's going to reverse. Okay. So what with this one, and I had to be. This morning was actually kind of interesting. I didn't really see too many perfect trade examples where I was just in love. So, real quick question. Eric wants to know, when I trade, do I use both the Ninja and the Quant, or can I trade only using the Quant? When I'm trading, what you see right now is what I have up, plus or minus the dome, of course, right? I keep the dome out of the way until I'm ready to pull the trigger. That's another way that I've helped discipline myself from wanting to get in early or trying to tell the March direction it's going to go. Instead, for this, I need to see here, 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 and then on this chart for matchy-matchy purposes, and then I pull the trigger. So hopefully that addressed that. I'm going to go ahead, and here's what we're looking for on the NinjaTrader charts to execute a perfect trade. I'll cover the NinjaTrader charts, and I'll cover the Segredo charts, and then we're going to press play, and we're going to watch this show up, and then we're going to enter the trade, and then I'll explain again why I got it. Okay? Here we see that the price action is at the S4. Okay? The trade came back up, back down, still hasn't penetrated. But at this point, I want to be patient. I want to know, these guys going to bring in money? Is this thing going north, or are the sellers going to sell off for pure emotion and fear? And is this thing going to bust through? Now, it had been going up for some time, and we can see because of the MACD is doing this. But on the when I enter a perfect trade, here's what I'm looking for in the NinjaTrader chart. I want to see where I belong here, just so you know. And just another point that I think I should be clear about, my 5-minute chart is my trigger chart. Okay? Meaning for everything that I need to see to be confirmed on this 5-minute chart before I enter. The 1-minute chart I use for matchy-matchy. It gives me some confirmation, and it gives me some confidence that my trade is going to be successful. So I want to see a green HMA over here. I want to see green candles over here, and I want to see them over here. In the second panel, I want to see this blue MACD line trending towards the center line. And I want to see the same thing over here. Finally, the third panel, I want all 3 of these stochastics to start trending up towards the 80 line, and I want to see the same thing over here. Now, here's some cautions, and we'll go some things to be caught. To be patient about, rather. If you get in too early on a perfect trade, it will give you gray hair, it will give you high blood pressure, and it will make you very, very nervous, and you will sit in it a long, long time. So, key number one, these have to be in sync, or there is no deal. You're not making a donation. You want to receive a donation, therefore you have to wait for this to be in sync. All right. So getting in before this HMH is just because you saw some serious price action over here. That's going to cause you to get in too early, and you're going to have to wait it out. When you're watching these build, pay attention to on the 5-minute chart to what your the degree of the 50 moving average looks like, because the sharper it is, the more it will reject the price action when it comes up. And in fact, it may bounce it back down, right? And then it may just, continue to go side to side, and then 50 moving average begins Latin. Then you'll see the price action move up and through it. All right. You also want to pay attention to the slope, if you will. I say degrees, to the slope of the 20. That's also going to cause some bouncing. All right. We know that these moving averages are a barrier. right? So respect the angle of these things, and if this is really sharp, just know, hey, you have to know it, because if you don't know it, you're going to be sitting in a trade freaked out, and no one likes that. It's not comfortable. It doesn't feel good. You want to enter trades with confidence, and you want to know what to expect. So pay attention to these things as you're watching this thing build, and as your time is to enter is beginning to show up. You also really want to make sure that this MACD is up. If you have any concern whatsoever, if it appears flat to you, wait till it is obvious. If the trade passes you by, so what? You missed. There will be another opportunity. Could be on a different instrument. Could be the 6A, could be the 6E. You're not limited. It follows an algorithm. Okay, it follows a particular pattern that the market day in and day out. So the criteria doesn't change, but the market behavior changes. Price action moves differently on a currency than it does oil, or natural gas, or gold. And I think that we've all seen this in action. So my caution is to ensure that if you're going to go long, that this line is trending to the MACD. I would not get in before, because the same thing as that I explained up here, you miss out, and it can be very nerve-wracking. You jump the gun on these three stochastics, and here's something cool. When these three stochastics are tight and they're trending upward together tightly, that's what Barbara would say is hot. It's hot. All right. Now, the final caution on the stochastics, I gotta warn you, is you want to beware of what we cover in the training class of what we call a runaway stow. Okay, and a runaway stow is when this 20 line, this one right here, it takes off by itself and it leaves the others in the dust. And typically what it does, doesn't do this every time, nothing happens, every time this way. But typically what it does is it goes screen up to the 80 line, and then it'll come back down and it'll get its friends, and then they'll all try and come up together, or at least similarly, okay? So those are the cautions that I have for you. I just don't want to see any of you sit in a trade for more than you have to, and we're all trying to work towards being more efficient. Now, there was a couple other cautions that Barbara shared with me when she shared this trade. Let's say that you're waiting on the MACD, and let's say that this MACD is trending up on the 5-minute chart towards the 0 line, but over here on the 1-minute chart it's already past the 0 line. You have no trade. You have nothing to do. Okay? You're going to have to wait until these MACDs get back in sync, either below and trend up together, or they get in sync above the center line or 0 line and begin to trend downward together. Is that clear? Does everybody understand that? That's an important point. The goal of this whole thing, sync. It's got to be in sync. It's got to be in sync on all 3 panels, or you have no trade. It's not, you just got to wait it out. Okay, so some of you are saying, please say it again. When let's say you're waiting for a trade and you're looking at your 5-minute chart and the MACD is trending towards the central line, but on the 1-minute chart, and it doesn't show it here, let's say that the MACD blue line has already passed the center line and it's up here. There's nothing to think about. You, in fact, walk away from the computer because you have no trade on that particular instrument. Feel free to change screen, go look at another instrument, but it is a lagging indicator. So keep that in mind. You want to wait. If these two sync, you don't trade. If, for example, the stochastics reach the 80 line, or they're above the 80 line, but over here they're trending up towards the 80 line, not in sync. So you don't have a trade. Everything has to be in sync. All right, so let me pull the Greto charts. One of you asked, when do we enter? I'm going to answer that question here in just a second. But what we're looking for on the quant is, of course, we want matchy-matchy on the NinjaTrader charts. And what I'm looking for, since we're going long, is I want green candles with green HMA up above. All right, and I want the HMA to cross the fast moving average. That, for me, is personal preference that I strongly recommend to adopt and adhere to. Sometimes there are good entries when the HMA on this candlestick chart right here hasn't crossed. I like the ones where it's crossed. Okay, and then when we go down below, I want to see on a perfect trade to go long, yellow oscillators with a 1, a 2, or a 3 on the 5-minute chart. When we look over at the 1-minute chart, what I want to see is green candles with a green HMA, because I want matchy-matchy, as Melanie would say. But down below, I want green oscillators on numbers. Green indicates buying strength. Get in and go long. And remember, this is the 1-minute chart. Now, typically what you'll see on the 1-minute chart is you'll see that the 13 has crossed the 20, and the price action is moving towards the 50. Sometimes you'll even see the 13 is at the point where it's getting ready to cross the 50. And as we know from Melanie's classes, once this 13 on the 1-minute chart crosses the 50, a new trend done. That really gives me confidence, because that's all a perfect trend is. Perfect trade is as the beginning of a new trend. Some of you are commenting that the time is not in sync. That is correct. What you see as far as time on the Segredo chart is New York time, and what you see on my charts is Dallas time. I decided not to change my charts because I like to know what time of the day I'm trading, and I've adjusted my thinking to know that at 9 o'clock in the morning, because a 10 o'clock reversal is coming up. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and press play, and we're going to watch this build together. Now, I'm not going to speed it up just yet. So it's 11:15 Eastern Standard Time. Over here on the 1-minute, on the NinjaTrader chart, I like the fact that there's an HMA. I'm expecting the price action to come back down because I think that this 50 is going to be a pretty decent barrier. I like the fact that the MACD hasn't reached the zero line yet. I don't like the fact that this has come up to the 80 line so far, but oftentimes when it comes back down and these trend back up together, if everything else is in sync, this trade is okay. Over here, what I'm waiting for on the trigger chart is I'm waiting for a green HMA to show up. Okay? See that blue line on the MACD is trending up. It's not doing it too, but it is trending upward. But I don't have 3 sticks pointing upward yet. And so what I'm also looking at over here, and again, we're not perfectly right side of the edge. I'm going to pause this for a second. I don't want the opportunity to pass this up. I'm waiting for a 1 and a gold candle to show up, and then I want to see green on green here. Now we see that the HMA is changing. The MACD is trending towards the zero line. And these are slightly slanted upward, okay? Now again, for any of you, this is a caution, but if you look at this and you can't tell, please don't pull the trigger. You have no business getting in the trade. You want to get into the trade when you are certain, okay? So at this point, we kind of have, if you remember how if you studied your class and you understand how the moving average crossovers work, what typically happens is the 13 crosses the 20, the price action goes up to the 50, and it'll come back down it's a mathematical trade at this point. When it becomes a gap close, it's about mathematics. And then the 13 will cross the 50, and the price action will go 100. And then the 13 will cross the 100, and the price action goes to 200, and then we play the game all over again. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the dome. Everything is in here. Three stochastics aiming upward, MACD aiming upward. The green HMA is showing up. I also like the angle of that 13. And I know I got respect for this right here. I know what's coming up. So let me pull up my dome. Interval 0, any trades? Let me make a few more adjustments here.
Where is he getting in?
Yeah, he's getting. That's not the right spot. It's one of those big green ones, like you showed. Where it crosses the.
Oh, he's in this one.
No, he's in this.
Okay. I like to do level 0 entries. I developed this as a habit through Melanie's training. Some of you feel more comfortable entering at level 1, and that's absolutely fine. Some of you feel more comfortable entering at level 2 and waiting for it to come down, and that's perfectly fine as well. So let's watch what happens here. We'll just go for 3 ticks. I'm going to let this play out a little bit because it's important. It's important to see what the price action does during a perfect trade. And for those of you that attend Melanie's class, as you know, gap closes, they dilly-dally, right? They dilly-dally. They go up a couple ticks, they go down 3 ticks. They go up a tick, they go down 4. They dilly-dally. And, you know, it takes a lot of momentum if the market's been going in one particular direction for it to go in the other direction. So it just stop on a dime and go straight down. It's like turning a aircraft carrier or a battle cruiser around in the ocean. It doesn't just make a hairpin turn. It takes a long time for that ship to turn around. So speed this up a little bit. So you asked, is there enough movement on the 6J in the morning? Yes, there is. Yeah, I've seen it move quite a bit. Some of you are asking, did you enter from the 5-minute chart? The answer is yes. The 5-minute chart is my trigger chart, and the 1-minute chart I use for matchy-matchy, okay? I want the 1-minute and the 5-minute in sync, or I don't enter. Some of you are asking, but the price is so far away from the 13. Well, as we know, and you'll see this the more that you drill it, the price action could come all the way back down to this 13. Okay? The reasons that I got in were that I had matchy-matchy on just about everything. I did have it on everything. I had green on green on this chart. I'm just going to minimize this because nothing's going to happen just yet. I had green candles, green HMA. I had green oscillators with green numbers, right? And then over here, had green HMA, green candle with a 1, and I had the gold oscillator, or the yellow oscillator. And then I had the green HMA come in. I liked that 13 was starting in this direction. I liked what the MACD was doing, and I liked what the stochastics are doing. So for some of you, if sitting in this type of price action makes you nervous, I would recommend drilling this over and over again so that you know what to expect. It's when you know what to expect that you feel good. It's when you don't know what to expect, where you're caught in this trade and you don't know what to do. And you know, some of you will just close out of the trade or the price action over here. Where's my mouse? made you nervous, and you felt like it could run in the other direction because possibly that's happened to you before. But remember, this perfect trade, it follows, it's a pattern, just like the clear trade is a pattern, just like the gap is a pattern. These moving average crosses, it's an absolute pattern, and it happens over and over and over again throughout the day. Mark, yes, my Segredo is an hour from the Ninja. The Segredo is showing Eastern Standard Time, and my Ninja charts are showing Texas time. Scott wants to know, would I get more opportunities for clear trades if I use a 3-minute chart? I don't know. I haven't drilled that a lot. I'm going to have to drill that and get back to you. All right, so let me speed this up a little bit. And as you're sitting in this, I just pause it right here. If you're sitting in this trade, you start to feel good. Why? Because you see that the 13 and the 20 on the 1-minute chart are diverging, meaning getting further apart. And you see it's in green here. That's fantastic. A green HMA comes in, helps you feel good. If you look over here, the 13 has crossed the 20, right? And it looks like the price action could go to the 50. And we see the stochastic, the 20 stochastic is really starting to get interested about going upward. So I'm going to press play. We'll just keep this going.
Why would divergence be good for that? I would think it would not be good, but I've forgotten why. Oh, it's strong. The green is getting stronger. Right. Right. That means it's really going to a perfect trade.
And there we go. So what happened here? Let's review this. What happened? The session was in this facing a run to the 200. That is why we got filled. And over here on the 5-minute chart, as we know what the pattern looks like from the moving average crossover parts in the training program, that the price action, once the 13 and the 20 have crossed, oftentimes makes a run to the 50 moving average.
Oh, it's about 200 too. It changes. It goes back.
Okay, so Lee, did I answer your question about what to look at on the 5-minute quant as a trigger? Because you just asked me that question to make sure I got that.
I think it went more than 3 ticks. Got 6 ticks.
Lee, you still with me? One of the things I love about the room is that we're all here to each other, and many of you come up and made a couple of other suggestions. Bill says, it also bounced off of the S4, which was helpful as well, and that is accurate, yes. Oscar wants to know, did I consider the 200 SMA on the 1-minute chart before I entered the trade? Only in that I knew that a moving average cross was going to happen, and it was possible that the price action could eventually go in that direction. And I say it in that way because I don't dictate when this happens. But I know because of the way that the moving average crossovers work, that they cross one, then they cross the next one, then the next one, and then they make the run to the 200. So Lee wants to see why I entered on the quant. So let me expand the 5-minute real quickly so you can broadly. Let me get a marker real quick.
Oh! Sorry, it doesn't work like that. I mean, unless maybe I don't know. This will work.
I hope that even shows up. Does that even show up? Can y'all see that? Okay. It's faint, I realize. Yeah, I would like it if it were more like Melanie's markers. Will someone call Melanie and see if she'll ship me some markers? Lee, that's why I entered right here, using the 5-minute as a trigger. I like the fact that the HMA is crossing.
Oh, I see it is lined up.
I like the number 1. I like that the fast-moving average was flat. And then down here I liked yellow oscillator with a green one.
Fast moving average should be flat on this.
Well, you're not
Yeah,
gonna use
I think my marker's drying out, but I think Bill's right.
well, I guess I can't do it.
So Sean, why couldn't you do matchy-matchy on the quant with a 5-minute 1-minute HMA crossing? I suppose you could. I suppose you could. I haven't drilled that, so I don't have any real experience with it. Let me change back to the... Oops. Yep, okay. So Lee says, now show it to me against the Ninja chart. Okay, so let's do that. And here we are. Lee, do you see that? Right here, it was about 30, 25, 20. We entered on the 20 candle. All right, cool. Good deal. All right, so now what I want to do is let's take you over to Australia. Let's show you some action on the 6A. So by the way, I've been watching the 6J, which is the Japanese yen, and the 6A, which is the Aussie dollar, in the mornings. And the price action seems to be great. It's great price action, especially when the U.S. market is trading. So I can't do anything about it because I work during the day. I like watching the 6J and the 6A at night. So a couple of you are asking me what time in the morning. You know, it trades when the market trades. I mean, this example was at 11:15. Okay, but right when everybody should be wrapping it up. Okay. Melanie talks about, there's an 11 o'clock move. It's not guaranteed, doesn't happen today, and it's not guaranteed to go up, and it's not guaranteed to go down. But I seem to be seeing this recently on quite a few different instruments. So okay, so see the entry on the 1-minute Segredo. Hopefully I didn't kill that chart. Boom. Okay. So we got in on the 11:20/12:20 candle, and there was a 0. This was the candle we got in on right here. So Scott, do you see that? I like green on green. I like green HMAs, and I like green candles. Now, you can't see this in the moment, right, when you enter the trade because it hasn't happened yet, but this thing went sideways for a little bit. And then look what happened to it. It dove down. Well, the oscillator dove down, but it just kept going sideways. Okay, good question. Thank you, Chuck. Is it okay that the 1-minute 20 stow was above the 80? I think that's what kind of created a problem, honestly. Meaning that it didn't go screaming upward, right? We got in and then it went sideways, and it's like, uh-oh. And then it slowly went up. And that's because this guy had already finished its price action. I personally like it when all three of these stochastics are below, below the 80 line. So if it's uncomfortable for you to enter a trade going long when this 20 is above the 80 line, make that a rule and please stick with it. I wanted to be able to give you an example on the 6J, and this is the only decent one I could find this morning. The only one that was as close to what I like.
The whole time we were trading, he couldn't find one.
Noel asked, do I continue from the perfect trade to the clear trade? No. Maybe someday. You know, I think when my account gets the same size as Barb's and Melanie's, I'll be doing stuff like that. You know, because I'll have my sub accounts and I can play around and say, well, let's sit in and just see what happens here, right? But I only want to do that when I've got a bunch of sub accounts set up, and yeah, that's just the wisest counsel that I think any of us have ever received from Melanie. So now let's go to Australia and visit our good friends in Australia. And some of you have already said hello, but if you're in Australia and you are in this chat room right now, will you let me know by just saying whatever an Aussie would say in a chat room? Keep it clean. To work on my accent, because I said I was going to do that. Hello from Perth, from Dallas. Yes, there's 4 or 5 of you. 7 of you. In the trade room. So, I need to navigate on the right time. Of course, my screens are going slow because I'm trying to run the webinar application as well. We got Sydney in the house. We got Melbourne in the house. Newcastle in the house. And then we have a Kiwi. I'm just kidding. No disrespect to the Kiwis, you fantastic rugby players. No disrespect to the Springboks as well. Yeah, so let me type this warning in the window real quick for you. All right. Okay, is my sound a little more stable? Okay, good. I'm going to make one more adjustment. It's going to be shaky here for a second. I'm just going to adjust to the time. It's going to be an entry to go long. We know because if we look at what the MACD is doing, at some point we know that the MACD action is going to go back up to the center line. But I'm looking for green bars with green HMAs crossing or getting very close to crossing the fast moving average. And down below I'm looking for fellow oscillators with green numbers. And over here, I'm looking for green on green. If I saw green on red like that one right there, I wouldn't touch it. And another thing, and this points back to Melanie's class, which was absolutely brilliant 3 weeks ago. She gave a class on how the HMAs can keep you out of bad trades. And then conversely, how it can put you into good ones. And if you were to just look at this as an example, you can see that the price action on this quant chart on the 1 minute is north of this HMA. That's strong. Right? When you see this, you have no business going short whatsoever. You have all the confidence in the world that this is going to continue to go long. It doesn't do it forever, but it does go for at least 3 bars. And so, where it starts to get sketchy, going back to her class, is when the price action starts to get close to the HMA. So you could save yourself tons of money, donations if you will, to other people's trading plans
by keeping that as a
by
hard
keeping
and fast
that as a
rule.
hard and
When the
fast rule.
price
When the
is
price
to the
is
left or
to the
north,
left
if
or
you will,
north, if
of
you
the
will,
HMA, I am
of
not
the
going
HMA,
short.
I am not going short.
And when the price
And
action
when
is
the price
below
action is below
the HMA,
the HMA,
on a red HMA,
on a
I
red
am not
HMA,
going
I am
long.
not going long.
So let's go ahead
So
and hit
let's
play
go ahead
on
and
this
hit
bad
play on
boy,
this bad boy
and watch this thing
and
build.
watch this thing build.
And so this is
a
a little bit after lunch.
a
It's
little bit after
afternoon
lunch. It's
time.
afternoon time.
Some movement is starting to happen
again.
and again.
And again,
This trade is about
this trade is about the 5
1 minute
and the 1 minute
in sync.
being in sync.
When it's not in sync, we
When
don't
it's not
trade.
in sync, we don't trade. So Deepak, I'm trying to pay attention to the screen and your question at the same time. I am showing
which
the trades that what I'm showing has already been done. If we're trading live, we are not watching the prices up or down on the HMA, right?
Because if
I understand you correctly, what you're saying is
it's easier for me
to show this to you right now because it's already happened.
and that when you're
And
in
that
the
when you're
moment,
in
you can't
the
see
moment,
that.
you can't see that.
Do I understand you
Do I understand you
accurately?
accurately?
Because you can very clearly see it on the Ninja Trader charts real time,
Just like you can see it right there right now. The price action is above this HMA. You wouldn't want to go short. Right?
So
So
you can also see it on the
quant.
And so this is
And
interesting.
so this is interesting. Let's take a look at this. We've got some things building. Some things are showing up on the 1 minute chart, which we need.
We need the MACD,
We need the MACD trending towards the 0 line, but not above it.
We need the three stochastics,
We need the 3 stochastics trending towards the 80, and look how tight those are.
Does it get
Does it get any tighter?
And now let's take a look at
And now let's take a look at the 5 minute, because the 5 minutes are trigger chart.
Unless something
dramatic changes,
we have what we need
to see over here. We don't need to babysit it.
Let's take a look over here.
Let's take a look over here.
A lot of price action.
A lot of price action.
Right? This is a
right?
big
This is a big candle.
But what we don't have
yet
is a green HMA. And I gotta have that. Because then
this wouldn't be in sync, right?
And if I look down below,
on the second panel, that has shown up, so I can mark that off the mental checklist.
It's
It's trending to the 0 line.
And then down below,
I've got three stochastics that are trending upward,
pointing up
towards the 80 line. So that's good.
Now,
Now,
if we look at our time,
bring this over so y'all can see it
for just a second.
It's
119.
It's 119.
And over
here,
coming up
at the 20 mark, we have our candle coming in.
So we know that
this thing's going to come in any minute now.
I'm going
to move this out of the way because it just takes up too much real estate.
Yes,
the HMA length is 14, I believe.
I hope I answered your question
properly.
Or I hope I
understood your question properly.
Let's bring up the dome. Luckily, that's not covering anything.
Too important.
Well, you don't have your green HMA.
Let's hit play.
What do we see?
The green HMA starting to show up.
How many of you
think everything is in play
based on what we've talked about
tonight? Yeah, so this is cool. A couple of you are like really concerned about the S4, and I am too. You know, hopefully I'm going to get an entry that's good, where I won't have to deal with that. But sometimes the price action goes through the S4, like right there. I can't guarantee that. I don't know. Right, because we're playing like we're really right on right side of the edge, and I've never seen this before, and it's in the moment and everything. Yeah, the S4 could present a problem for us. Yep. Sasha brings up a good point. This 13 hasn't penetrated the 200. Yep. And I mean, essentially, what do you call this? What is this right here? Yeah, it's a fist. Yep.
Well, you can see the next bars are up to the sky.
You guys are right on the money.
You guys are right on the money. So
let's play this through and let's watch.
What happens.
And you're taking a trade on the 200.
There was,
by the way, you know, when I went looking through,
there was
a lot of people hanging out down at the S4 today.
I think the euro went down there.
I think the euro went down there. I think the Aussie dollar went down there. I think the yen went down there.
I don't look at
it's CL, and I don't look at gold, and I haven't been looking at NG, but I'm wondering if those hang out down as well.
Let's check this out.
Now keep in mind, I'm going to press pause for a second. We're looking for 3-tick trades, okay?
Now on the quant,
we have a short window. Very short window.
Right, because once it becomes
green on green on the 5-minute chart,
that's not our trade.
That's not our trade.
Unless we wanted to be a clear
trader, and do entries.
On the 5-minute chart.
On the 5-minute chart, do clear trade entries. Then of course, this 3 might work. But if you don't catch it at the 3, then you're done. So.
If you look at the price action.
Let's see if I can move this guy a little bit.
The price action's pretty significant.
The price action's pretty significant. I mean, it's gone from
when it hit the 200.
It was at 33, and it's already gone up more than 10 ticks.
So
this would have been a good trade.
And here's why. Because you
had the 5-minute and the 1-minute in sync. The Aussies
and anyone else who trades
this decided it was time.
It was time to go back up. So this would have been a fantastic
trade. And in fact, let's
see if I can
go back to it. So to make that close fall through. I hadn't even really paid attention to it. No, that was addressed a few weeks ago. It was on calculate and Barlow's true. It wasn't coloring all that edge. You're asking about the HMA, and yet. Yes, it's set on false.
Definitely
looking at 1-minute quant, and on the 1-minute quantity is and here by the way, sometimes it doesn't happen. Definitely an exception, but if you look at 1-minute quant, we would have entered precisely, at 14.20. Matching oscillators.
I don't
see that too often. Doing my sound is out, huh?
Interesting.
just got nonsense. I don't need to. Yeah, yeah, it works. I can see why a lot of this laughing at this.
The problem was, this is not a safe trade.
All right.
All right.
I want to make sure that my
I
sound
want to
is
make
back.
sure that my sound
A
is
lot
back.
Of you commented
A
on
lot
that
of
in
you
a moment.
commented on that in a moment.
Great. Okay,
Great.
Thank
Okay,
you.
good. Thank you.
So recap. Okay, so
so
Peter, you're asking for
a recap, and I was
taking up.
Let me scroll back.
Mike's
comment. Mike wanted to know, are you not looking at the 1 minute quant? Absolutely, I'm looking at the 1 minute quant. And so let me tell you what you'll typically see when you're doing a perfect trade, going long, is you'll see, of course, yellow with green oscillators, otherwise you don't get in, and it's a 1, a 2, or a 3.
And typically what you'll see
on the other side, on the 1 minute chart, you'll see green on green.
green oscillators with green numbers.
Green oscillators with green numbers, and that's fantastic.
However, over here,
if you look at this is 1420,
which is
when
your one
showed up.
I don't really see this too often.
I don't really see this too often, and it's okay, but you had matching oscillators with matching numbers, and that's pretty cool. It's absolutely the exception.
Other than this example,
I don't think I've seen it
for
at least a month.
So
pretty cool when that happens.
So let's hit replay.
hit replay again, and when.
So there's the green HMA. Let's just watch the price action.
So
I got in at 39.
So I got in at 39.
So
technically my exit is right at the S4. Right?
And what I like to see is
sometimes it goes to past the S4.
So I'm wondering how long
it'll take us to get filled on this trade. We entered at 120 and change. Let me scroll back down and get caught up on the comments and questions.
Noel wants to know when
replay data is available for the same day after the market is closed. Typically, Noel, what my routine looks like is I get off work at 5 o'clock, and I come home, and with no problem, I'm able to upload that day's activity.
Laura,
that's a good point.
Love this.
Gosh, I love this. So yeah, that went through.
The trade was.
Let me pull my
replay over to show you. We entered at 120.
And change.
So
a little over a minute.
And I got to tell you too.
So just like I rarely see oscillators matching on the 1 to the 5 when they're gold green. Here's the other thing I'd never see.
These three stochastics
are going up as if they were tied together in a 3-legged race.
That's pretty cool.
Barbara says that the tighter together the stochastics, the better. So if 3 of them going up tightly is hot, then this is like supersonic cosmic lava hot.
So not bad, a
1 minute trade.
We like those when we can get them,
right?
So Laura mentioned that
if you look at the chart, both of the 13 EMAs are in support mode.
I didn't catch that.
So thank you, Laura, for bringing that up.
Had these
been dark green, which would have meant they were resistance,
like
they are right here. It was resisting the price action.
That could have caused
some serious problems there.
Serious problems. But you know what? Here's what I found out about the Aussies.
The Aussies don't like to give you problems.
As they say, there's no worries,
right?
So now, let's take a look at another one over on 6E. My goal, and I know it takes some time to get everything adjusted, but I like to show you on as many different instruments as possible. And again, they're not all super sexy and beautiful and perfect setups every time, and they're all swoopy.
We can
roll. Okay.
That's a new and roll. Okay.
So Peter
says you trade in the afternoon after work. The pivots aren't reset by shadow traders till around 7 or 8. So how do you know if your pivots are correct when you start your trading? I never even thought of that, Peter. You've brought this to my attention today, and as far,
from my experience, I haven't had a problem with it.
It has not been a problem for me.
All right.
So
here we are. It's 9
o'clock. We're on the Euro.
9 o'clock in Texas.
9 o'clock in Texas. Let me be clear. So it's the 10 o'clock reversal, which is going to come up, right? Sometimes it doesn't perfectly reverse, meaning if it was screaming down in one direction, that it just automatically hairpins and goes straight up, and vice versa. Sometimes if it's going sideways, as you can see it is here,
it picks a direction.
Now, as we know,
the price action's been going down for some time.
If you look at, this 5-minute chart, it's very clear. This is a preference of mine. I like the ones that have been going in one direction for a while. It's also been going sideways for a while, and it's been riding this S4. So we know at some point it's going to make a decision.
And when I look below
at the MACDs, I'm anticipating a move up. Not predicting, but I am anticipating. And I'm going to absolutely make the MACDs, the stochastics, the HMAs, and the candles show me everything I need to see in order to get in. Because today is not a day that I want to make a donation.
Now what I need to do is bring
up the quants so we can set that up so that you see what I see when I'm trading.
We want to
always take a look at both of these.
This was amazing. Went up and up and up.
Ed, I'm curious about your
trade that you're telling me about right now. How many ticks did you go for? Was it successful?
Fantastic. How many
push-ups did you do afterwards? That is fantastic, Ed. All right, so I'm almost there.
You could have gotten 70 ticks. It was amazing.
Getting kind of late. As you can see, this 1-minute chart may just get to the point.
I'm hoping I'm wrong.
Okay. Yeah. So.
Okay. Jill, thank you for reminding me. So
Ed was sharing with me
that he did a perfect trade on 6E at 10:07 and 48 seconds, and he got 6 ticks, and it was a 3-6 trade.
Fantastic. Can
we all give Ed a big amen in this room?
That's fantastic, man.
That's fantastic, man.
All right, they're rolling it, Ed.
All right, they're rolling it, Ed. Look at all that support.
Great.
Amen, great.
We'll show you this one real quick,
and then let's go take a look at Ed's trade. What do you say? Come on, Rob.
Okay.
Okay, so let's orient ourselves really quickly.
It's 9 o'clock in Texas.
10 o'clock in New York.
10 o'clock in New York. All right.
10 o'clock in New York.
10 o'clock in New York.
9 o'clock in Texas.
9 o'clock in Texas.
All right,
so
because it's after the fact and we can
see this, obviously we know what we're waiting for, but
we don't have anything.
We don't have anything.
I hate it when that happens.
I hate it when that happens.
Boom. Okay.
Boom. Okay.
Nope, that's not what we need.
Nope, that's not
Anyone
what we need.
interested in using a Japanese
Anyone
yen
interested in
chart
using a Japanese yen chart on the quant to determine an entry on the euro?
Any takers?
Any takers?
Sassy?
Anyone feeling sassy?
There we go. All right.
There we go. All right. All right. So
we need a whole lot of things to change.
We need a whole lot of things to change.
I'm going to go long.
I'm going to go long. I'm anticipating long again because of the positioning of the MACD, the stochastics over here, as well as over here. You can see the cycle, and it's been going, and now it's going to start a new cycle.
I need a lot of things to show up.
I need a lot of things to show up. I need this HMA to turn green. I want to see some green price action in these bars, right? S4, it's been riding this S4 for a little bit, hadn't made up its mind. The 13 and the 20 are getting mighty close. The 13's actually crossed the 20 over here, but now it looks like it wants to hang out with it again. The price has penetrated south of the S4, so this S4 is going to be a barrier, and look what's right next to it. Thank you very much, 50, for just sitting there.
Yes, very good.
Yes, very good, Sylvia. The 13 is still resistance because it's dark, and the 20 is still resistant because it's dark, and then you have the same thing over here. So we need a lot to change. We need this MACD blue line to be trending upward. We need these three stochastics to be trending upward. This looks sad. We need these three guys to get an agreement and go up. We need this to go up. So we need some agreement to happen. Let's press play. Christina,
who is in Houston.
Christina, who is in Houston, wants to know where I'm at. I'm in Dallas.
But I'm not one of those
Dallas people who thinks that they're great because they're from Dallas.
Just a regular dude.
Just a regular dude.
All right.
All right. Let's speed this up a little bit so that we don't burn this up, and we can go take a look at Ed's trade.
All right, good.
All right, good.
HMA is changing color for us.
HMA is changing color for us.
I need this MACD to make its mind up.
I need this MACD to make its mind up. These three guys going the wrong way.
Getting some positivity over here.
Some three stochastics going upward.
Starting to. I need this
MACD to be a little more clear. I can't tell, therefore I wouldn't enter a trade.
And I need this HMA to change
colors.
Alan wants to know
when I'm trading in the evening, can I sit and watch the charts without distraction? Yes.
And I recommend that you do that.
There's a lot of power in doing what you're doing while you're doing it. You know, you hear all this talk about multitasking.
I read a Harvard Business
Review article that talks about multitasking, lowering your IQ quicker than smoking marijuana.
You
talk about, whoa, I can multitask. I can walk and talk. I can text and drive. I can chew gum and think. And I can watch Seinfeld in my charts at the same time. Well, good for you, because you're getting dumber.
The definition of power
that I like is doing what you are doing while you're doing it. Let's stop for a second and see where we're at. All right, we're getting some good stuff here. All right, we've got three nice barriers that are going to possibly slow this price action, but we've got our green HMA, we've got a green bar with momentum, like it. MACD trending towards the zero line, not past it, like that. Three of these still hanging out kind of close together, one at 59 and the bottom one at 35, and they're trending upwards.
These three are trending upwards.
These three are trending upwards. The MACD is a little more clear. Does everybody see that that is pointing upward?
And now I just need. I need this
to change colors.
I really want that too.
I really want that too. And if you look at 10:05, we should be getting
everything to fall in place here. Which is right about now.
So let's see if this starts to happen.
Oh, it
Boom,
is.
there it is. Okay,
Boom,
now it's
there it is.
9:06,
Okay, now it's 9:06, I believe.
Yeah, this is the 9:10 candle.
Yeah, this is the 9:10 candle.
So, do we have everything
that we need to get in?
Based on the criteria that I've shared.
Based on the criteria that I've shared with you this evening.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Do it. Yes.
Do it.
All right,
Do
cool.
it.
So
Yes. All right, cool. So here we go. Nope.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay. Here we go.
Hopefully it won't leave me behind.
Hopefully it won't leave me behind. Nope.
All right.
All right.
Dilly-dallying a little bit.
Dilly-dallying a little bit.
But I like the fact that the
MACD
has not reached the zero
MACD
yet.
has not reached the zero yet.
These guys are still pointing
I like
up.
these guys are still pointing up.
When I saw this yellow
oscillator with the 1, I looked up there. I like that the HMA is crossing the fast-moving average on the quant.
Green HMA
We've got the
here.
green HMA here.
MACD pointing upward, 3 stochastics
MACD pointing upward, 3 stochastics going up. Boom, we're done.
So that trade was about a 55-second trade. Not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah, so Alan says I start.
When I do replay, I do it at the normal speed so that I'm used to real-time moves. And that's exactly what I want you to do. It's fantastic. Sometimes I have to speed it up in here just because I want to be able to show as many examples as possible. But Alan, when I do my 20, I drill 20 trades a day. I drill the same entry 20 times. I sit in that so that I know what it feels like and so that I can watch the dome and watch the price action as it's occurring in the trade. So that, like you said, in real life, when it happens, I've seen it before, and I don't panic or do anything
strange.
So,
Ed, are you still
in the house?
All right, cool. So your entry was
at 10:07:48, right?
Yep, 10:07:48. All right, let's go there.
10:07:48. All right, let's go there.
That's the bar. We actually get a.
Ed,
one quick thing.
When you say 10,
is that Eastern Standard Time or is that Dallas time?
Okay, thank you. So we're in the moment.
Thank you. So we're in the moment. We're 2 minutes away.
Right, because this is
Central Standard Time. So. So Ed says actually it's EDT. Ed, what is ED? What's the difference between EST, which is Eastern Standard Time, and EDT? I have no idea.
So when you say that to me, it throws me off.
It makes me think I need to make an adjustment. I'm not going to say anything why it moves.
So it's Eastern Daylight Time.
So it's Eastern Daylight Time.
And Ed says it's Daylight Savings
And Ed
Time.
says it's Daylight Savings Time.
All right. So I'm not going to say anything.
So I'm not going to say anything because as soon as I hit OK, it's going to make my voice garbly.
Yeah, right.
It'll just be different because it's 3 hours different, 2 hours different.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay, should be good.
Okay, should be good.
Let's look at
So
Ed's entry.
let's look at Ed's entry. Ed did a 3-6.
Let's not be ready.
Let's not be ready.
Okay.
Okay.
So Colt asks,
So Colt asks, how do you replay the quant and Ninja Trader together? What I typically do, Colt, is I'll go through the charts and find the perfect trade entries, and then using this, I'll set it to that time, and just like we're doing tonight, I'll put this as close as possible. Sometimes I'll even do the trade blind without the quant, so I may, minimize the screen, if you will, and enter based on the criteria that I've been sharing with you for the past few weeks.
And then I'll enter the trade.
And then I'll enter the trade, and then I'll look back and see
where I was for accuracy.
Does
that make sense, Colt?
Does that make sense, Colt?
So let's look at Ed's entry.
So let's look at Ed's entry.
All right.
All right.
What we see right here is we see
that the price action is firing upward.
Wait, hold on. Ed's got some.
Wait, hold on. Ed's got a news flash for me.
Okay.
Okay.
So Ed's telling me he got
so
in.
Ed's telling me he got in here.
And then his three
ticks were
and his next three
there,
ticks
and his
were
next
there.
3 ticks were there.
So Ed, then if I enter,
given the criteria that you shared with me, if I do this, it's going to come down and fill me. Yes?
Or were we too late to the
Or
party?
were we too late to the party? Is this too late?
Well,
Okay.
I'm
going to bet. I'm a betting
not
man
with trading,
sometimes,
but
not with trading, but
doing what I'm doing while I'm doing it. I'm
doing
betting
what
while
I'm doing while I'm doing it. I'm betting while I'm betting, and I'm trading when I'm trading.
What do y'all think's going to happen here?
What do y'all think's going to happen here? I mean, look how far away the price action is from the 13, and look how far the 13 is
the 200.
From the 200.
Yeah. So Sasha says
Yeah.
it's going to bounce off
So
the 200.
Sasha says it's going to bounce off the 200. Absolutely.
On
Do we have any other takers on that?
Yep. Laura says retrace.
Yep. Laura says retrace. Blake says it's over.
Resist on the 200.
It's going to resist on the 200, says Peter.
All right,
yep,
cool.
says
So
JK. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do then
is, by the way, on my trigger chart,
I see everything that I need to see. I'm on a 2. It's either a 1 or a 2, right? And we can enter on 1s, 2s, and 3s. Look at the fact that the HMA and the fast moving average are trending together. That's great.
Love seeing that.
We love seeing that. And you have a 2 down below.
Or actually, I guess
this could be in the 1 candle.
It starts at the 5 and ends on the 10.
It starts at the 5 and ends on the 10.
So this is where you entered, Ed.
Yeah, so this is where you entered, Ed.
You entered on this 1.
You entered on this 1.
And so if we go over to 907.
To 907, or 1007.
This is 10, so.
This is 10, so.
You entered somewhere around here.
You entered somewhere around here.
So we see green on green.
So we see green on green, which is fantastic. 6 is not too late. If I see a 7 or an 8, I'm a little nervous, honestly.
You look up above.
and you look up above, these guys are trending together. This is fantastic. So let's watch what happens.
You know, Ed, I'm glad that you didn't.
You know, Ed, I'm glad that you didn't chase this and try and get in a way like, you know, around the S3 or something. That could have been a nice mess or a hot mess.
Alright, so as we know, these
perfect trades can move around a little bit. We know that
this is where the Bulls and the Bears fight.
This is where the Bulls and the Bears fight.
And if you're Ed,
you're
like jumping out of your chair.
You're like jumping out of your chair.
You're excited.
You're excited. You've got your hand right underneath the 1.3248 and you're trying to push it up on the dome. You're excited.
You love to see the green.
You know, you love to see the green. You love to see this down here. You're feeling very right.
Look at that. Boom.
Look at that. Boom.
You do 3-6 entries.
And you do 3-6 entries on perfect trades that where the 1 minute chart and the 5 minute chart are in sync.
It can reward you with 6.
It can reward you with 6 ticks, and as we can see here, sometimes it goes even further.
Ed, thanks for
being willing to share that with the room, so that we had another example to take a look at.
That's
fantastic. Nicely executed.
Yes, so Laura says, good job, Ed.
Yeah, so Laura says, good job, Ed. Sasha says, nicely executed.
All right, so
at this point,
we'll go ahead and
I guess we'll go ahead and conclude sharing with you any more
perfect
trade examples.
Like to follow up with you now. Noel is funny.
Noel is funny.
The 6J was swoopy.
The 6J was swoopy at 2 p.m. EDT today.
That's great. You know what?
That's great. You know what? I am so glad that I could add another piece of jargon to our super progressive dictionary.
I'm going to have to show this off a little bit.
I'm going to have to show this off a little bit with Melanie.
You know,
Melanie brought us matchy-matchy.
The fishies.
She has so many fantastic teaching tools.
Swoopy
came out of nowhere to visit us today in the classroom. How funny. I hope that tonight we were able to give you enough repetition to see what a perfect trade looks like, and to see that, again, they're not all swoopy. They're not all absolutely perfect when they match and those types of things. And, you know, again, not every moment in the market is unique, or is perfect, but it is definitely unique. So,
we've got a few minutes left here. Did any of you have a question
about the perfect trade,
that being
anything about the chart,
the Ninja Trader chart, or
the Ninja Trader chart, or the Segredo quant chart that you asked earlier that I didn't answer?
Rick.
So Rick's question is, would the MACD above the center line have caused you some concern? Yes. It would have.
And that's no slam against
And that's no slam against Ed at all. I'm just saying that would have caused me concern.
Right, because I like them when they're
right, because I like them when they're down here. And guess what? I would have sat and watched a perfectly good trade.
You know, in terms of price action.
This thing moved. I'm just kind of reading through the notes that Barbara gave me to see if there's anything else on that question, Rick, that I can give you. Nope.
No, there's nothing from Barb on that.
No, there's nothing from Barb on that.
Ed says, I really like this.
Ed says, I really like this damn thing. Yeah, I do too. I do too. I like the perfect trade. I like the quant.
I like clear trade that just can't.
I like clear trade that just can't do them. You know, I sit in the moment. I'm waiting for the fist to break into a fan because I know that a fan follows a fist. But I'm the guy that says, oh look, a sexy candle. And I get in and zap,
stops me out. So I like gap closes, but I like trading the currencies because it's not erratic, and gap closing on the currencies is not a wise thing to do.
Okay, Cliff,
please summarize the perfect trade to reinforce our memory. All right, let's do that. So Cliff, on the quant, you're looking for to go long yellow oscillators with green numbers, and you're looking for a 1, a 2, or a 3. And up above, of course, you want a green HMA crossing the fast-moving average with green candles.
To do the converse
or to do the opposite,
when you're going short on a perfect
trade and you're using the quant for confirmation, you're looking for red HMAs, preferably crossing or across the fast-moving average, a 1, a 2, or a 3, and blue oscillator with red numbers.
On the Ninja Trader charts,
what you're looking for the perfect trade?
You're looking for to go long.
You're looking for a green HMA
on both the 1
and the 5.
You're looking for the MACD.
To be trending towards the 0 line on both.
You're looking for the 3
stochastics to be trending towards the 80 line to go long on both.
And then if you reverse it to go
short,
you
need red HMAs. On both.
You need the
MACD trending from above the center line down towards the center line on both.
And then
that's weird. And then you want the 3 stochastics above the 80 line.
Well, they don't have to be sitting above the
80 line. So let me be clear. But you want the 3 stochastics trending down towards the 20 line on both.
Sorry for the squeaky chair.
I just don't feel like getting WD-40 right now.
Peter says when you trade,
check the news first, given that 6J is paired to the US dollar.
Wise counsel there.
Always check the news.
The first thing that you should do after you
the first thing that you should do after you log in is just check the news.
Based on whatever you're trading,
check the news for that item. In the evenings, I go to forexfactory.com and I check the Aussie news items